Thanks for joining us for Khari Free at Last on Bounce23 TV. I'm Khari Enaharo. In an unprecedented and sweeping action that could lead to the complete unraveling of the Columbus City school system, the Ohio Department of Education subpoenaed records concentrating on current and former educators in what is being called the Columbus City Schools data rigging scandal. 75% of the people listed in the media reports are African American. This is the largest investigation of its kind in the history of Columbus. Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host Jallow, the Reverend John Coates, and Donella Martin-Braddix. Reverend Coates, it seems to us that we are looking at something unprecedented in the history of the city of Columbus. What's going on? Well,
what we're looking at is the unraveling of the Columbus public school system. We are looking at a coup d'etat take place step by step.
Well, I'm going to get to that. I don't want to go to there just yet. I want you to hold that point. Jallow, what do you see?
You know, I see Columbus City Schools, and I see a system that is corrupt. I see a system that needs to be fixed, and I think that it needs to start at the top before we get to passing down subpoenas to, you know, principals and administrators. It needs to start at the very top.
Well, where's the top? Where's the top?
The top would be the superintendents, anybody who...
You're saying urban school district, many of superintendents in urban school districts are corrupt. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying many are corrupt. I'm saying that they're making wrong judgments when it comes down to
Sounds like to me, you said corrupt. Didn't you say corrupt?
All right, fine.
So what are you doing? Trying to fence walk like Mandrill?
I was trying to, but it's
trying to be like Mandrill, fence walk. Anyway, that's so old school. Donella.
As a lifelong educator, this situation saddens me. I'm not just sad for the educators that are involved in their, careers stunted. I'm also sad for the parents and the children, most of all. I believe that this is a situation that's not isolated. I do believe that this situation is the cause of, you have the No Child Left Behind Act from 2002 to 2007, and then the Race for the Top Act introduced in 2009 by President Obama. I believe that these policies are responsible for not what is just going on in Columbus City schools, but what is going on across the nation.
What is going on across the nation?
Well, when you have policies such as these that reward schools for high performance and also punishes schools for failing children, what it does, it invites corruption.
So people start cheating?
Oh,
yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
State governments and the federal governments realizes that our system was broke, is broke, and will be broke unless something is done about it. So what they attempted to do was put in place some type of policy with incentives that would show some type of accountability.
Right. That doesn't necessarily...
And that's what I'm saying, is that to say then that
somebody has to cheat because
of accountability.
That's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yes,
and you're trying to justify cheating.
You know what, Khari? There is no justification for dishonesty. But I was a teacher.
Cheating, not dishonesty.
I was a teacher. I was in the trenches. And I can speak for the fact that once you instigated the No Child Left Behind Act, it left teachers and educators completely helpless to help the children that were left behind.
I don't agree with that. Absolutely not.
You don't agree?
Because, for one thing, we have to incorporate parents here as well, because they are part of the problem. If your child cannot read, then it is your job to get your child up to par before entering school. Now, the teachers have a lot on their plates. They're dealing with behavioral issues, this and that, and the third and fourth. But we have to put teachers in place who know how to handle these type of special children. We can't, if your child is not passing, then if the No Child Left Behind was a fluke anyway.
Y'all just making excuses.
What makes a child special? What does special mean?
When I say special, I'm talking about when you have a lot of teachers who are placed before students who don't look like them.
Okay.
So a special child is a minority child, a black child?
I would say a minority child wait a minute, whose learning style is different.
Okay, I completely disagree. You have schools in Africa
You disagree with Jallow?
Absolutely.
How dare you?
You have children in Africa who are learning on dirt floors, and by a 4th grade level, they know algebra, trigonometry, and calculus.
Languages.
Thank you. So there is no excuse. I find it offensive that another person would say that black children learn differently. We don't learn any differently than any other race of children, and I take offense to that.
sheriff wants the teachers to rap the lesson to the students.
Well, you know what? We are a vibratory people.
Teach it to them. Teach it to them in Swahili.
We are, scientifically, we are a vibratory people, and that is how we learn.
That is false.
That is how you have 2- and 3-year-olds who can rap an entire rap song.
And you know what?
When they took phonics out of school, it set our children back because phonics is vibratory, and that is how we all sitting up here on this panel.
So, Reverend Coach, Reverend Coach, what you're telling me is that we have a corrupt system right now?
Oh, certainly the system is corrupt. That's what it is.
Definitely.
The system is
even
corrupt.
got people. I forgot about the gambling pool.
Yeah, but what
Donella... Stay right there. Wait a minute, stay right there. School superintendents, administrators, and teachers indicted. Woo! Up next on Khari, free at last. Welcome back to Khari Free at Last on Bounce23 TV. I'm Khari Enaharo. In 2009, an investigation by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation found that 44 out of 58 Atlanta City schools cheated on statewide proficiency tests. 178 teachers and 38 principals were found to have fixed the test and grades. The Atlanta School Superintendent Beverly Hall and other administrators and teachers were indicted and several convicted and serving time. The majority of those teachers and administrators were African American. Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host Earth Jallow, the Reverend John Coates, and Donella Martin-Braddix. I know I was gonna get it right. Braddix.
Almost.
Oh, all right, well, close. But she's all pinkified today anyway, so it don't matter. So, look, Atlanta.
Atlanta.
We know what happened.
Hotlanta.
Yeah, Hotlanta. They found they were cheating, they were lying, they were, you know, doing all kind of stuff to push the children forward. Does that say that our children are just dumb and can't learn?
No.
Or does that say that we got a corrupt system?
What does it say? We have a problem within the system, but just look at Atlanta. Just wasn't that it happened in Atlanta. This superintendent was recognized nationally as the best superintendent of any district in America.
Yes, she was.
Okay, but as the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is their major paper in Atlanta, they did an investigation, and they realized that nearly 100 school districts around the country experienced jumps in their grading scores, which indicates that there may have been cheating in those school districts as well.
Massive cheating all over the nation.
There is an issue and something that's driving these school systems.
But wait a minute, but it's saying something else, Earth Jallow. Anytime you've got to inflate the numbers, are you telling me that our children are not being educated in these urban school districts?
They couldn't possibly be educated if they're graduating not being able to read. That's number one. Number two, you know...
You sound conspiratorial right now. Huh?
It is a conspiracy. I believe it is. There's a third grade. There's that third grade guarantee that if the students aren't reading by third grade, then they already building prison systems for them. So don't tell me that our students don't learn differently, because if you practicing with an 18th century curriculum in the 21st century, it's not working for us.
That's admitting to failure.
That's
saying to me that black children can't learn.
Absolutely.
Therefore, we have to cheat to elevate their grades.
What I said.
Come on. Do you buy that?
Absolutely not. It's the same rationale that people use to say, oh, Asians are smarter than others. Asians are not smarter. They just work harder. And black families and black children typically don't. We have a subculture where education is not prized and valued.
Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute.
And
what do you mean they just work harder?
They work
Where's your
harder.
evidence?
Let me tell you something.
No. Where's your evidence?
I lived in Japan, and what the typical family spends on education is thousands of dollars each year.
You said
what
work
does
harder.
Yes, they work
Where's
harder.
your evidence?
Okay, you know
Where's
what?
your evidence that they work harder than black children?
Let me tell you a typical Asian child's school day. They start school at 8 o'clock. They got out of school at around 3 o'clock. They go to another school from 3 to 10 o'clock at night. And you will see children as young in first grade or second grade, as young as that, walking home from schools at 10 o'clock at night.
Reverend Coach,
this is what is expected of them.
She is putting together a stereotype.
She's saying black
children are lazy.
It is real.
She's saying they don't want to learn. And then she says black principals and teachers and administrators, superintendents are cheating.
Other cultures, even within America, have reinforcement systems for their youth.
Absolutely.
So if we see that our children are failing, that should tell us that we need the same after school reinforcement system in mass to make sure that our children don't fall through the cracks.
Why am I paying these humongous salaries to these people who go to Harvard and all of these schools to get these degrees and they can't teach our children?
We shouldn't be paying. Our tax money shouldn't be paying for teachers who do not produce results for our students.
Tell us again, George Bush. Tell us again, George Bush. That is the policy. That's the policy that President Bush put into place.
Don't let him get away with that.
When he was Governor Bush, and he brought it to the White House, because you're saying that if the teachers can't teach the children, fire them or don't pay them in assistance.
Hold on, that's not what I said. Stop putting words in my mouth.
And that is precisely the policy that has encouraged this cheating, and that's something we need to look at as parents and teachers.
I really believe no, if you are a bad teacher, and we have them, come on, y'all. We have teachers who cannot teach. Come on, y'all. I'm in these classrooms as well. Donella, I'm sure that you have seen teachers who can't get the job done. Get rid of them. The union protects them, and so we have to do a little better.
Khari, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Earth Jallow to the Conservative Party, because if you can't take it from Earth, but you can hear it from Earth, but can't take it from George Bush, there's a problem, because that's the exact same thing that George Bush said. That's the exact same thing George Bush said.
George Bush created this problem. As well as Georgie Bush sunk the economy in this country. Georgie Bush is the problem why you got all this cheating. He set up a cheating, corrupt system, and you know he did.
Because it started with No Child Left Behind, which was instituted by George Bush, and we need to look at it this way. The way other countries look at education is that education is the job of the community. We look at it and we say, since 2002, education is the job of the teacher. Let's blame the teacher. And how can you blame the teacher and blame the schools district?
Is that what we say?
When you have an epidemic
of poverty and
homelessness in the community.
That's what Earth Jallow and George Bush said.
Did not just say in the beginning that when we opened up, pay attention, that it is part of the parent's problem when your child can't read, that it is the parent first. It starts at home first. I cannot put all of the onus on our teachers. No, I can't. Because we have some fantastic teachers that get some horrifying students, and they turn those grades around. They bring those students up to good levels. And if you have a teacher who can do that, you need to pay that teacher top dollar.
I'm happy that she just as passionately argued the other side when she trashed the first group of teachers.
Pay attention. But the thing about it is, if you, and I've been in this situation, if you have a child that is in 9th grade and they cannot read, what can I do in the span of I had the children for about 4 months, one semester. What can I do in 4 months? You know something? Let me tell you this, though. When you have a situation where teachers and schools are being judged on their ability to give children 12 years of education that they haven't gotten, you're going to have a system for corruption. And it is not the teachers and the educators to blame.
But you know what they're saying, though? They're saying that our children, essentially, our children are so inferior, they're so inept, so incompetent, and the teachers are the same way until they have to cheat to make it. That's what the Reverend Coates is saying. That's what Donella is saying.
The system is inferior. The system is incompetent, because it doesn't put
the system is people. What are you talking about?
The system is policy over people.
The system made a decision to teach to the test.
People made a decision.
Because there's an incentive
Hold on for a minute. People make decisions. Y'all going by this language talking about the system. I'll system you. Hold on. Taking it back. Taking it all back. Up next on Khari, Free at Last. Welcome back to Khari Free at Last on Bounce23 TV. I'm Khari Enaharo. Can black school administrators control the education of African-American children, or are these scandals justifications for changing control of urban school districts from black to white? Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host Earth Jallow, the Reverend John Coates, and Donella Martin-Braddix. All right, see, I said it right. Braddix. All right. Now, here comes some conspiracy. This is Earth Jallow's kind of talk, Reverend, because I know that you're not a conspiracy-oriented person.
A truth seeker.
Are they trying to change the control of the urban school districts in this country using 2 case studies, Columbus and Atlanta, from black to white?
Well, based on those case studies, and we have Atlanta to see, and now we're looking at the system in Columbus, yes, we see a dismantling that's taking place and a shift in power. In the subpoenas that were issued
75% of the administrators that according to the Columbus Dispatch that received subpoenas were black.
And from schools that are located
and
within
in Atlanta,
the
the majority were black.
And schools that are located within the urban system. So what they're going to do is they're going to put the pressure on these administrators and teachers. They're going to perjure themselves, and then they're going to turn over evidence, and it's going to lead to the top.
So this is a purge.
It's a purge.
Why? What is the purpose of the purge?
There's a takeover that's happening before our very eyes, and there is a shadow school board that has already been put in place in Columbus waiting to go to work. They were appointed. We don't hear anything about them anymore, but they were already appointed, because the question is going to be asked that if the head of the district was responsible for issuing orders, then where was the school district?
You're talking about principals, vice principals. I mean, this is the most widespread action of its kind ever. I've never seen anything.
Right.
The implications for black people running and controlling the Columbus Public Schools, as well in Atlanta, are staggering.
Yes.
There's a wholesale purge going on, and nobody but us is talking about it.
It's crazy for me because I'm seeing the gentrification that's going on, and I'm
You're talking about within the areas where large
areas where
and
we're
black
talking
folks are being Section 8 and put out in the other community.
The apartment complexes are being shut down, and those people are being relocated, and there's an influx of...
And we saw that with Pondexter Village.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then now there's an influx of new people coming in, okay? And so you see how that the hospital looks, and everything is looking real nice, right? And so how can those people move into the inner city if the schools are failing? That's not going to happen.
The number one reason why people locate or live in places is the school system.
Absolutely.
Because with families. So is there, all right, now you got a white superintendent in the Columbus Public, done very well.
Which
a white chairman of the board at the Columbus, done very well. And then all of a sudden, now you've got Gene Harris under attack. You've got all of these other principals and vice principals being told to shove it 75%. And in key schools.
Right.
I'm talking about all the major schools with black. What's going on here, Donella?
Well, basically, as we said, it is a takeover, okay? It's long settles what used to be an open debate of whether education should be under the control of politicians or whether it should be under the control of educators. And basically what these scandals are doing is they're giving the government the license to come in and mandate, you know, what is happening in our schools.
Why take it from black to white? Why not just say, okay, you had a couple of black folk in there that didn't do what they were supposed to do, put some other black folk in there. Because the school district is still black.
So geniusly pointed out to you.
What, she said something genius?
Yes, she did.
Goodness.
She said that it's an issue of gentrification. So if the neighborhoods and the communities are changing, then they're going to change the system within these buildings that we call schools.
So you saying white flight is over? Is that what you're implying?
No, white flight is...
Well,
into the city.
So black
white
flight.
flight's happening in the suburbs, coming back into the central city.
So it's black flight now.
Right.
Black folk are leaving.
And these are school buildings where the majority of the hue of the students within these buildings will change within the next 10 years, and so will the administrators.
What are we looking at? What will the districts like Columbus look like in 10 years, Earth Jallow?
You know, I'm with John. I think they're gonna have a different face on there. And see, for me though, personally, I wonder what it's going to take to wake us up, and how come we haven't gotten our own schools with our own curriculums and teaching our own students?
But the thing is, it's
because I'm paying taxes. That's why.
You know,
wait a minute. If we could take If we could take all of our property taxes and put them in escrow and spend them the way we wanted, I would go along with it. But I'm paying taxes.
And I take the opportunity to say again, welcome again, black people, to conservative thought, okay? Because it was your Democratic elected politicians that argued the point that it was wrong for you to be able to use those tax dollars and to apply them to your children's education through the formation of charter schools or being able to use vouchers in order to send your kids to school with your tax dollars wherever you wanted them to go. And we brought into it, and as a result, 30, 40 years later, we don't have our own institutions set up with our own tax dollars.
Yes, Donella.
You know, I think, though, what we need to do is we need to bring the source of responsibility back to the community, back to the families of the children that are being
Community
served
schools?
by these schools.
Community schools?
Whether it's a community school or whether it's a public school. What do you see in the mornings when you see children walking to school? Half of the children I see don't even have a backpack on their back.
Okay,
or they don't
here,
even have schools
well,
they're
not giving out books anymore. Yeah.
But the thing about it is this, we have to stop looking towards the top and blaming them. We have to start taking back our power. We're the parents. There are children. These are our schools. And until we get
Reverend
that mentality,
Coates,
this is going to continue.
Reverend Coates, how do African Americans maintain control of this system? Is it possible now?
Well, in Columbus, it very well may not. Because
Why?
when you see subpoenas given out to over 60 administrators,
I mean, principals, vice principals.
That's an educated brain trust within the community. That these are community leaders. These are people that are over buildings.
Let me say this, something I haven't said. If they are found to have participated in the data rigging scandal, their licenses are revoked.
They're gone.
They're gone. They can't even teach or work in the state of Ohio.
Which is a tragedy.
There's
tragedy.
Someone asked me the question, well, if they knew something was going on wrong, that they shouldn't have done it, why would they do it in the first place? And my answer is survivability.
Yes, yes.
Survivability. I believe that most people are one check away from total disaster and destruction, regardless to what economic level that you're on.
I mean, that's right. Be careful what you ask for. Up next on Khari, Free at Last. Welcome back to Khari Free at Last on Bounce23 TV. I'm Khari Enaharo. Some community activists have been calling for the heads of those involved in the data rigging scandal. How do we weigh that against the loss of African-American control of the school system? Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host Irv Jallow, Reverend John Coates, and Donella Martin-Braddix. All right, I love that. Now, Irv, we've got some of these activists running around and said they need to go to jail. We need to put them away forever. They've done the disservice to our community. Well, if you wipe them out, then African Americans no longer control public education systems in this country. Is that what we want?
That is
How do we
not
balance
what we want.
that?
We do not want to
But
just
the children have been hurt.
They've been hurt, and we understand, and we're rectifying that, you know,
How?
right now.
By getting rid of the people?
No, not by getting rid of the people, but
Where'd you get that word from, rectify? Spell it.
There
we go again.
I think that
you can't spell it either.
Look, he gonna think about it while we're talking. But they should be reprogrammed. There should be some training done, maybe some suspension done. But they don't just take their license and their livelihood and the careers that these people have built over time and just throw them under the bus.
Do we throw them out, John?
No, we don't throw them back. We don't throw them down or away. If it comes down to indictments,
they've been involved. If this is true, they've been involved in dastardly conduct.
If it comes down to indictments, and I'm talking to you, county prosecutor, attorney general, if it comes down to indictments, give them amnesty.
Right.
Have them turn evidence on whoever issued an order for them to do what they did. Let's get to the root of it. And then as a community, the people we should hold responsible are the people that we elected to serve on the Board of Education.
So what you're saying is that try all the board members and then let all the people who implemented the system go free. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You know what I think we need to remember?
You wouldn't give the immigrants amnesty.
I said the people
you wouldn't give the immigrants amnesty, but now you want to give these educators caught in this scandal amnesty. What's wrong with you?
Amnesty, educators, I'm still trying to connect that. But thank you for bringing up the issue. We'll talk about it. Sure, we'll talk about it in the future. But no, I'm saying let's find out what happened. And the way we're going to find out what happened is the way that any law enforcement technique takes place in any investigation.
Give them amnesty?
Because they were following orders. These are men and women, professional men and women that were operating under distress. Distress.
If I tell you to go jump off...
Where's your compassion?
Hold on.
Mr. Enaharo?
Don't even try that. Don't even try that. Just because you got a brand new towel, don't try it. Let me tell you, wait a minute, hold on for a minute, wait a minute. Just because I'm your supervisor, if I tell you to jump out of the window, you gonna jump out of the window?
Most people will, if their livelihood is dependent upon it.
10 stories down, give me a break. Come on.
You know what? How high that window was.
We have to remember that the schools that were involved were the most vulnerable and most fragile, of the city, And that's what we have to think about. Because of these acts, No Child Left Behind, the Race to the Top, not only are schools rewarded promoted for high performance,
They don't answer
they're
the question.
also punished.
Do you want those administrators' heads?
No, I do not want those administrators' heads.
What do you want done?
Because they were trying to save their schools. If you take money out of the schools, you no longer can operate. So not only do you lose your job, teachers lose their jobs, districts lose their jobs, and the schools lose money.
Wait a minute,
They're trying to save these schools.
Reverend, we have to be careful about it.
We've got these bleeding hearts who now want to keep telling me, oh, it's not their fault. Look, you knew what you were doing when you were doing it.
It's not a bleeding heart. It's an issue that somebody may have thrown a stone and then hid their hand in the process, and we want to make sure that's not the case.
And you think you're going to get it by giving them amnesty? No way.
Well, I said they should, some kind of way, we should punish them, of course, whether it be re-education,
but not take away their license.
But not take away their license. Absolutely not.
This is a problem with poor policies that have trickled down, you know, and don't serve the people that need the services the most. You don't punish the people for having to operate within a flawed system.
You're blaming it on No Child Left Behind again.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just can't get off of it. So the federal government should not hold these systems and teachers accountable.
It's funny that she said.
Thanks to TalkTainmentRadio.com, Jallow, Donella Martin-Braddix, and the Reverend John Coates. And thank you for watching Khari Free at Last on Bounce 23 TV.